Hey guys, thanks for joining us here on Redmen TV. About to see a clip from our Journo Insight show. Me and Neil Jones talking about the contract situations of Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you want to watch or listen to the entire episode, redmenplus.com. Go over there right now. If you sign up as a monthly captain using the promo code CLOP, you will get your first month completely free. Won't cost you a penny. So yeah, go and check it out and check out this amazing clip from this week's Journo Insight. I was reading The Athletic this morning, as I tend to do. James Pearce, obviously, I don't know if this is because there's a quiet time in the window or whatever it was, but you were speaking about Liverpool's contract and what Liverpool have got coming up on the horizon, and one of the stories about contracts is that if I asked you for like Liverpool's 5 most important players, I reckon every single one of us would have Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold in that list. I mean, you probably put Alisson in there and add whoever else you want. They're all out of contract in 2025. James says, as it stands, formal discussions over renewals are yet to get underway. We've already obviously had the Salah situation with Saudi, already little snippets from Spain about Trent Alexander-Arnold being on Real Madrid's hit list at times as well. Virgil van Dijk, obviously now club captain. It's very rare Liverpool got themselves in this situation actually with almost the Mane, Firmino, Salah stuff, where we had our 3 big guns all out of contract at a similar time. Now these are all in different stages of the career, different positions, but there's a lot of work for, at the moment, your Schmadke and whoever else, if he stays or goes. They are 3 massive decisions and contracts that Liverpool are going to give out. 3 huge top earners at the football club who all deserved and all could get big money at other clubs as well. It feels like these are ones that are going to start ramping up soon. But if we go through all 3 separately, Neil, let's start with Mo Salah, because his future's probably been most in doubt of these 3, given what happened in the summer. Like, look how important Mo Salah still is to Liverpool. Different type of player, but he's still, the goal scorer, assister supreme. We're all talking about how devastated we are that he's gone away for AFCON for a month. His is the one where I can't see Van Dijk and Trent leaving this summer coming. Salah, there's still that doubt around because of the Saudi interest. It's going to be I don't even know how you approach this subject. You say more money, less money, same again. How many years? There's a million questions on the Mo Salah contract situation.
Yeah, and the last negotiation was big enough to be the subject of a university business. What's the word?
The doctorate report.
I mean, it was using an example. It was a study, that's the word.
Ironic that we couldn't. Maybe we need to study.
Maybe. So it was clearly a tough negotiation, a complicated one.
And since then, a team has come in and bid £150 million or whatever for him. So.
Yeah, and that will hold a lot of the key to what happened. I think from a Liverpool point of view, from footballing sense, I think there's a big case to be made that you keep him and you try and extend. Even if you just said, do you want to sign an extra couple of years, one more year even would be helpful. Because I still think he's important. I still think he's able to play at the level, and I still think he's worthy of his status in the team. I don't think he's declining or declined.
He signed in 2017. He's played 332 games.
Remarkable.
Again, touch wood. Honestly, every part is he's always fit. He's never injured. His record speaks for itself. He's the type of player who you can go, you know what? I understand this rule of players over 30, etc. But
he's
a freak. He's in every single way. If the rules are meant to be broken, you break them for players like Mohamed Salah who have never let you down in terms of fitness, injury records, all that kind of stuff.
I think there is a case to be made, but what would change it would be what's on offer elsewhere, and from a Liverpool perspective, does he want to leave? What's the money that they can get for selling him? What's the demands of his wages if he were to stay? I don't think there's any question about if you had to keep him against his wishes, you go on strike, or you wouldn't get the level out of him. I think that would be fine. But I think this summer's a decision to be made for Liverpool in terms of that. I would always lean, I would have lent to it with both of the others that you mentioned, Mane and Firmino. I would always have lent to, just keep him until his contract goes. I don't mind. He's given enough to Liverpool. Another year of him is worth more than 100 million now. But I'm not sure Liverpool would subscribe to that.
What's interesting as well, Neil, because a lot of these massive players, and listen, Salah he's a world superstar. He's one of the best players on the planet. But it feels like you talk about a player, how stories get out. I might be wrong, but it feels like he's got like a very insular team. It's obviously him and his agent do a lot of this, and like every now and then his agent tweets, so there's a report, wasn't he, linking him with Spain, and his agent just reported saying you don't know.
Yeah,
like, so,
it was an old report, wasn't
it? Yeah, an old report that he's come back out and said, yeah, you just don't know, was his exact word, was Rami Abbas's tweet. It feels like it's hard to get these, like, to get a sense of what the Salah camp wants, because the Salah camp don't speak.
But I think that
even the Saudi stuff we didn't.
That's obviously very deliberate, isn't it? You know, he doesn't tie himself into. He doesn't speak. When he speaks equivocally, doesn't he? You know, unequivocally. Sorry. You know, he says. You know, even if you think about some of the things he says, when he just tweets in the middle of the season, he say, "I promise you, we will get top 4." That was one in the pandemic season. He said, "I promise you, we'll get top 4." You know, he doesn't waste time sort of after every game going, yeah, well, you know, we're this, or leave his options open. He sort of he nails his colours when he does speak, but he doesn't speak very often. Yeah. So I understand.
There's no big.
Yeah, I understand why. I mean, and there's a lot of noise. I mean, look, you saw it in the summer how many people were saying things like it's a done deal. You know, there was some obvious ones that we won't sort of bring up, but there were people saying, yeah, it's done. You know, he's leaving. It's going to get announced once the English window shuts and blah 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 and this and that. And it didn't. He kept his counsel on it. His agent kept his counsel on it. Apart from one tweet, I think, where he said we wouldn't have signed the contract if we weren't planning on being here. Yeah. Now you could read into that. Well, it was a 3-year contract, wasn't it, that they signed? Does that mean that applies for the entirety of the 3-year contract? Possibly. And would it change if Salah was to inform Liverpool, like, yeah, I'm going to do me 3 years and I don't want to renew no matter what you offer me? Maybe. But I think Liverpool hold a few more cards than they might have thought.
Well, the Saudi League looking like a shambles.
I think that's become a little bit less of a. I wouldn't say it's become less of a threat because the money is huge and of course, but I don't think it's as easy to make the case from Salah's point of view beyond the money. You know, I think if it had gone really and grown and you were looking in January and it was taking more and more players, you would start to think, well, a little bit like the someone like John Rahm in the golf with the Liverpool. Like, well, actually, you know, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me to jump. It's a little less sporting wise, I think, to make that argument. So that plays into Liverpool's hands, and the way that he's performed this season again shows that he's an ultimate professional. He's still at the very high level. And Liverpool are competing for honours at the high level as well. So it's moved back into a sort of Liverpool's case is stronger towards Salah, isn't it? Really, do you want to go there? You know, don't you want to go and have another crack at the Champions League? Don't you? You know, you might win the Ballon d'Or if Liverpool win 2 or 3 trophies this season. You know, if they come, you know, I think they're up against it. But if they go and win AFCON, this current version, do you want to do that? Do you want to take your team to the next World Cup? You know, I think there's more for Liverpool maybe to put in the opposite camp than we might have suspected this time 12 months ago. This time a year ago, where you might have said, Liverpool on the way down. Is Salah actually on the way? You know,
you need the potential.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Liverpool are in a little bit of a stronger position at the moment, but can change, of course. But I think I look. My thing would be the last thing that I would do would be sell Salah this summer. Out of all of the options Liverpool have got, the last thing I would do would be sell him.
Let him go for nothing in the year after.
Yeah, I would. I genuinely would. Yeah.
I agree. Let's do Trent next then, because this to me feels the obvious one. Like this, you just expect this to get done.
Yeah.
You can't see a world where Liverpool sells Trent Alexander-Arnold, where Trent wants to go anywhere. He's already the heir apparent. He will be the captain of the football club at some point in the near future. This one feels like it's just a case. There'll be a number and a way that you've got to match, and he deserves it, because again, some of the best players in the world. He is one. I think this season you've seen him as a character. Does that make sense? Like we've always had Trent the player, but Trent the man.
Senior player.
Yeah, Trent the man. He's the captain. He's done. You can tell how he's carrying himself. This just feels like it's more if than when than if.
Yeah, look, everything Liverpool have done in the last 12 months in particular, but beyond that, points to them bringing Trent into the centre of their world and their picture, and literally as well at times, as well as metaphorically, but making him vice captain, building the tactical structure of the team around him, demanding more from him. You see in the way that he's come back, and I think he was one. You know, you talk about backing your words up with actions. You know, Trent, I remember speaking to him back end of last season, May, just before Firmino's last game, it was at Anfield, and him saying, I am you know, I am absolutely determined that this won't happen again this season. You know, we won't be in this position again. I'm taking responsibility. We all are. And you're talking about backing it up. He come back like a new man. You know, he spent his summer. What was it, up in Seattle, I think it was, or he was up in the mountains somewhere in America or in the hills doing his fitness training, his altitude training, wherever Under Armour are based, and he's been in brilliant form, and he's been, you know, if you were to pick your 6 nominations for the PFA Player of the Year, I think he's in them, isn't he? Yeah. Potentially a winner if Liverpool go in the direction that they're going in at the moment, continue. I think it has to, you know, that can only point to Liverpool sort of giving him pretty much what he wants, and I don't see him at this stage looking to jump ship. I think he's quite happy with that responsibility. I think he actually relishes that responsibility, and I think he'll get it at Liverpool. So I would be surprised if there was any hiccups in a Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. So
let's talk about Van Dijk then, because it is the interesting one, both in terms of age and a few different things. So Virgil's 32 now, he turns 33 in July. Yeah, he was born in July 91, so he's got 2 more years left. He's taking him into his mid-30s. I think, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, but if you'd have said, you know, in 2 years' time, Virgil, where are you at with him? You're like, because after post-injury, I think we'd all agree that he wasn't the Virgil of old. Yeah. But this season, A, he's the captain of the football club, and B, he's been back to somewhere near the Virgil van Dijk that we became accustomed to. Is this more one that you just kind of play out? You leave it because, again, he is in his mid-30s. The injury situation's a little bit different than what Mo Salah's has been as well. How do you see the Van Dijk one play out? Because given he is the captain, it's worth mentioning, so in 2025 he'll still be the captain, nothing's going to change there. Like, if Liverpool ever let a captain just go for nothing, like the captain of the football club just walk away, like, they've sold a few.
Well, Steven Gerrard walked away.
Yeah, but that was more his. Was that his choice or was that theirs?
Oh, well, I think they could have kept him. Yeah. I think they could have done more to keep him.
Yeah, true.
I think it depends what Liverpool's plans are in the centre back position as well, because we talk a lot about left-sided centre back, don't we, or, you know, a left-footed centre back. Obviously, that is a replacement for Van Dijk, essentially, isn't it? You know, if that's what you're buying, you're buying someone who's either going to rotate with Van Dijk or take over from him. So if Liverpool are to go and spend a lot of money on a player who plays in that position, and that's a decent sort of marker for what they're planning. Yeah. I think Van Dijk's level, again, talking about Alexander-Arnold, Salah, his level this season has been immense. Yeah, you know, he's been, again, I think he's another one. If you're doing the PFA list, I think
everyone to fill the January void, loads of team of the season so far. Van Dijk was an Everton.
I mean, exactly. I don't, you know, he's a non-negotiable, isn't he? Really? Yeah. I could see a situation where it's, you know, Liverpool just add a tag on a year or two onto that. I don't see why, you know, it doesn't have to be a 5-year contract or, you know, that kind of thing. But I think Van Dijk, I think for the service he's given, the levels that he's reached, the influence that he has at the club, and, you know, you look at someone like Thiago Silva, for example. I think Van Dijk could do that. Yeah. I think Van Dijk could go 36, 37, 38. So while it is, of course, it does have to impact maybe the length of the contract that you give a player, or even the sort of the guaranteed salary that you give a player. Of course, it changes when you get to a certain age. I don't think Liverpool needs to have too many fears about whether he's going to be a good enough player to play for them going forward if he's fit and available.
He doesn't run anyway, so you might.
Doesn't run. He's brilliant in the air. You know, he's an organiser, of course, and he still does have that sort of aura of kind of people stay away from him, don't they? You know, you look at the stats after a game when Ibu Konate's played, and the duels and the sort of, you know, the tackles that they've had to make. It's always the other defender looks like he's had to do more of the work, doesn't he? Because I think teams do stay away from him. So I think Van Dijk's another one at Liverpool. I don't see a situation where Liverpool say, you know what, thanks for everything, Virgil, we've had enough of that. I think Liverpool will at least make an attempt to prolong that stay. And you know, I've never heard or never had any sort of vibe from Virgil that he sort of looks elsewhere with any great sort of. He was actually asked in the summer about Saudi, just after he'd taken over as captain. I was there. I think it was at Preston. think it was when he played Preston, Darmstadt at Preston, and he was asked, "Did you have the chance to go to Saudi Arabia?" And his reply was, and I don't think it was meant in the way it will sound as a dig at Jordan Henderson, but he said, "I'm the captain of Liverpool. You know, like I'm very, very happy with this sort of lot." I think that remains the case, personally. I don't see him being someone who's going to sort of, you know, give up on his top level career before he needs to.
I suppose, well, looking at the fact, because I think the story is that they're all out of contract at the same time.
Yeah, that's a big...
And that's a worry.
But again, sorry, to add in another point, but look at what Liverpool have taken off their wage bill in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
12 months. Henderson, Fabinho, Firmino, Milner, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Thiago will probably go off it in the summer as well. Yeah. That gives you, and the players they've brought, okay, yeah, you know, they pay money, but McAllister, okay, Brighton wages to Liverpool wages. I don't think that's a sort of a structure busting one. I don't think Szoboszlai is one. Endo's not one. Gravenberch. You know, I think they're in a position now where they can look and say, well, who are the pillars of our team? And they did it quite successfully around the time they won the league, didn't they? They picked out 5 or 6 players, 7, maybe even more. In fact, it was around the time of the quadruple season, wasn't it? They did Alisson, they did Van Dijk, they did Henderson, Trent, Robertson, Fabinho, I think was another one. They went down that road, didn't they? And I think that you'll see a little bit of that now, where they go, right, okay, and it might be that it's Salah, Van Dijk and Trent. It might be that it's Kanate. You know, we see him as the future. We see Curtis Jones as being our sort of man in that position. We see Darwin Nunez as our number 9 for years to come. You know, Gakpo. It might not look as obvious as kind of the 6 or 7 that were around there, but I think you will see Liverpool go on that kind of retaining spree at some point in in 2024, I would imagine.
Does the Schmeichel thing finally, does that have any impact on his whatsoever? The fact that they haven't got his long-term person in place yet? Or is this above his head? Because this is like an ownership thing as well. These are your three of your 4 or 5 best players as well. But someone's got to have the conversations, and we don't know where
You've got Mike Gordon, obviously, who handled a lot of the Salah negotiations last time, along with Julian Ward.
They went to the Villa, didn't they? And when you see them on the photos,
yeah, absolutely. Of course, it does impact. Because it's like, well, how easy is it to do it when you come into the last month or 2 of your time? I saw there was a Christian Falk, I think, wrote that there's still a chance that Schmeichel stays. You know, he likes working for Liverpool. It's whether or not the sort of the whole thing works out for everyone that he stays. But yeah, it does have some impact. But like I say, they've still got the people in place. They've still got the owners. They've got the manager who's obviously got a big say in, do you want them to stay? How are you going to use them? And you've got Mike Gordon who is the man really, that even if for all of the power that the sporting director has in terms of operational, actually Mike Gordon's the one who has to. He has the final say really in terms of, okay, do I get the sign off? Do we push a button on this? Do we expedite this situation? It usually comes back to him and FSG.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord, and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, legend tier status.